The Nintendo DS is a dual-screen handheld game console developed and released by Nintendo. The device went on sale in North America on November 21, 2004. The DS, short for Developer's System, or Dual Screen, introduced distinctive new features to handheld gaming. Two LCD screens working in tandem, a built-in microphone, and support for wireless connectivity. Both screens are encompassed within a clamshell design similar to the Game Boy Advance SP. The Nintendo DS also features the ability for multiple DS consoles to directly interact with each other over Wi-Fi within a short range without the need to connect to an existing wireless network. Alternatively, they could interact online using the now closed Nintendo Wi-Fi connection service. Its main competitor was Sony's PlayStation Portable as part of the 7th generation era. Prior to its release, the Nintendo DS was marketed as an experimental, third pillar in Nintendo's console lineup, meant to complement the Game Boy Advance and GameCube. However, backward compatibility with Game Boy Advance titles and strong sales ultimately established it as the successor to the Game Boy series. On March 2, 2006, Nintendo launched the Nintendo DS Lite, a slimmer and lighter redesign of the original Nintendo DS with brighter screens. On November 1, 2008, Nintendo released the Nintendo DSi, another redesign with several hardware improvements and new features. All Nintendo DS models combined have sold 154.01 million units, making it the best-selling handheld game console to date, and the second best-selling video game console of all time. The Nintendo DS line was succeeded by the Nintendo 3DS line in 2011. History. Development. On November 13, 2003, Nintendo announced that they would be releasing a new game product in 2004. The company did not provide many details, but stated it would not succeed the Game Boy Advance or GameCube. On January 20, 2004, the console was announced under the codename Nintendo DS. Nintendo released only a few details at that time, saying that the console would have two separate 3-inch TFT LCD display panels, separate processors, and up to 1 gigabit of semiconductor memory. Nintendo President Satoru Iwata said, "We have developed Nintendo DS based upon a completely different concept from existing game devices in order to provide players with a unique entertainment experience for the 21st century." He also expressed optimism that the DS would help put Nintendo back at the forefront of innovation, and move away from the conservative image that has been described about the company in years past. In March 2004, the codename was changed to Nitro, and a document containing most of the console's technical specifications was leaked. In May 2004, the codename was changed back to Nintendo DS, and the console was shown in prototype form at the 2004 Electronic Entertainment Expo. On July 28, 2004, Nintendo revealed a new design that was described as sleeker and more elegant than the one shown at E3 and announced Nintendo DS as the device's official name. Following lukewarm GameCube sales, former Nintendo president Hiroshi Yamauchi stressed the importance of its success to the company's future, stating, "If the DS succeeds, we will rise to heaven. But if it fails, we will sink to hell." Launch President Iwata referred to Nintendo DS as Nintendo's first hardware launch in support of the basic strategy, gaming population expansion, because the touch-based device allows users to play intuitively. On September 20, 2004, Nintendo announced that the Nintendo DS would be released in North America on November 21, 2004 for $149.99. It was set to release on December 2, 2004 in Japan, on February 24, 2005 in Australia, and on March 11, 2005 in Europe. The console was released in North America with a midnight launch event at Universal City Walkout Games in Los Angeles, California. The console was launched quietly in Japan compared to the North America launch. One source cites the cold weather as the reason. Regarding the European launch, Nintendo President Satoru Iwata said, "We believe that the Nintendo DS will change the way people play video games, and our mission remains to expand the gameplay experience." Nintendo DS caters for the needs of all gamers, whether for more dedicated gamers who want the real challenge they expect, or the more casual gamers who want quick pick-up-and-play fun. Promotion. The system's promotional slogans revolve around the word touch in almost all countries, with the North American slogan being, "Touching is good." The Nintendo DS was seen by many analysts to be in the same market as Sony's PlayStation Portable, although representatives from both companies have said that each system targets a different audience. At one point, Time magazine awarded the DS a Gadget of the Week award. At the time of its release in the United States, the Nintendo DS retailed for US $149.99. The price dropped to US $129.99 on August 21, 2005, one day before the anticipated North American releases of Nintendō DS and Advance Wars: Dual Strike. The console's North American slogan, "Touching is good," caused minor controversy for its inappropriate expression, as touching is slang for rape. As a result, the slogan was changed to "Pick up and play" in some countries. 9 official colors of the Nintendo DS were available through standard retailers. Titanium were available worldwide. Electric blue was exclusive to North and Latin America. There was also a red version of the DS which was bundled with the game Mario Kart DS. Graphite black, pure white, turquoise blue, and candy pink were available in Japan. Mystic pink and cosmic blue were available in Australia and New Zealand. Japan's candy pink and Australia's cosmic blue were also available in Europe and North America through a Nintendo DS bundle. Although the colors are just referred to as pink and blue, however, these colors were available only for the original style Nintendo DS. A different and more limited set of colors have been used for the Nintendo DS Lite. Sales as of September 30, 2014. All Nintendo DS models combined have sold 154.01 million units, making it the best-selling handheld game console to date, and the second best-selling video game console of all time. Legacy. The success of the DS paved the way for its successor, the Nintendo 3DS, a handheld gaming console with a similar dual-screen setup. It can display images on the top screen in a three-dimensional look. On January 29, 2014, Nintendo announced that Nintendo DS games would be added to the Wii U Virtual Console, with the first game, Brain Age: Train Your Brain in Minutes a Day, being released in Japan on June 3, 2014. Games compatibility. The Nintendo DS is backward compatible with Game Boy Advance cartridges. The smaller Nintendo DS game cards fit into a slot on the top of the system, while Game Boy Advance games fit into a slot on the bottom of the system. The Nintendo DS is not backward compatible with games for the Game Boy Color and the original Game Boy because the Sharp Z80 compatible processor is not included, and the console has physical incompatibility with Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. The original Game Boy sound processor used in the older systems is still included, and indeed necessary for some GBA games that use the older sound hardware. The handheld does not have a port for the Game Boy Advance link cable, so multiplayer or GameCube Game Boy Advance link-up modes are not available in Game Boy Advance titles. Only single-player mode is supported on the Nintendo DS. As is the case with Game Boy Advance games played via the Virtual Console on the 3DS and Wii U, the Nintendo DS only uses one screen when playing Game Boy Advance games. The user can configure the system to use either the top or bottom screen by default. The games are displayed within a black border on the screen, due to the slightly different screen resolution between the two systems. Nintendo DS games inserted into the top slot are able to detect the presence of specific Game Boy Advance games in the bottom slot. In many such games, either stated in the game during gameplay or mostly explained in the game's instruction manuals, extra content can be unlocked or added by starting the Nintendo DS game with the appropriate Game Boy Advance game inserted. Among those games were the popular Pokémon Diamond and Pearl or Pokémon Platinum, that allowed the player to find more exclusive Pokémon in the wild if a suitable Game Boy Advance cartridge was inserted. Some of the content can stay permanently, even when the GBA game has been removed after content has been added. Additionally, GBA slot can be used to house expansion packs, such as the Rumble Pack, the Nintendo DS Memory Expansion Pack, and the Guitar Grip for the Guitar Hero On Tour series. The Nintendo DSi and the DSi XL do not have a second cartridge slot and cannot play Game Boy Advance games, or Guitar Hero On Tour. Regional division. The Nintendo DS is region-free in the sense that any console will run a Nintendo DS game purchased anywhere in the world. However, the Chinese version games can only be played on the Chinese DS, whose larger firmware chip contains the required Chinese character glyph images. Although the Nintendo DS of other regions cannot play the Chinese games, the DS can play games of other regions. Also, as with Game Boy games, some games that require both players to have a Nintendo DS game card for multiplayer play will not necessarily work together if the games are from different regions. With the addition of the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection, certain games can be played over the internet with users of a different region game. Some Wi-Fi-enabled games allow the selection of opponents by region. The options are regional and worldwide, as well as two non-location specific settings. This allows the player to limit competitors to only those opponents based in the same geographical area. This is based on the region code of the game in use. The Nintendo DSi, however, has a region lock for the DSi where downloadable games, as well as DSi-specific cartridges. It still runs normal DS games of any region. However, media specifications. Nintendo DS games use a proprietary solid-state mask ROM in the game cards. The mask ROM chips are manufactured by Macronix and have an access time of 150 nanoseconds. Cards currently range from 8 to in size. Larger cards have a 25% slower data transfer rate than more common smaller cards. The cards usually have a small amount of flash memory or an EEPROM to save user data such as game progress or high scores. However, there are few games that have no save memory such as Electroplankton. The game cards are 35mm x 33mm x 3.8mm and weigh around 3.5 grams.